Hello, guys. Can you see me? Hear me? Are we good? Hi, everyone. Um, Welcome to Friday. Happy Friday. What's going on? You guys are talking about Patreon. You love the projects. I'm so happy. I'm so happy that you all are excited. So yeah. How's everyone doing? Okay, someone said hi to me, so you guys see me. Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. I'm just, lounging around in this old brunch coat. Hello. Hi. Happy Friday. Happy Gertie o'clock, everyone. I have my Coke Zero ready to go. Now, a word from our sponsor. So this is the cherry vanilla Coke Zero, which, is not my favorite. I prefer the regular, but this is a nice little mix it up every now and then kind of thing. It's very sweet. Cheers. Happy Patreon Day. Happy May 1st. Oh my gosh, Reagan's already cutting out her rose coat right now, the brunch coat version. This is fabulous. Okay, Colin's got a Coke Zero ready to go. It's Dr. Pepper today. Okay, sure. Hi, everyone. So let's see. I'm so glad you guys like the dressing gown. So just to give you a little background on the project, I think month one of Patreon, I put up that image of Rose Weissman from The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel wearing a dressing gown to an inspiration board or a post of images on Patreon, because it's been something that I've wanted to do before we even started the Patreon. I was like, we need to take the princess coat and make it into a dressing gown. And then when I saw that image, it was actually B&J Fabrics that posted that image, because they work with Mrs. Maisel, the wardrobe on Mrs. Maisel, to provide a lot of those fabrics. So that fabric is actually from B&J, the one that Rose wore in the sample on the show. So I was just really struck by that image. And so from day one, this has kind of been a plan for Patreon. And I remember thinking, May, I was like, is May too close to summer? Should we be doing sundresses and stuff by then? And I just kind of decided to go forward with it, because I was just feeling it. I was like, I have to do it. And so we'd actually started on this project before I even knew what coronavirus was, before quarantine, before social distancing, before all of this. So it just kind of so happened that it ended up being the perfect project for this time, because we're all hanging out at home. And I think a lot of us realize that we don't really have fabulous loungewear. So super, it just worked out really well. It worked out super well. And yeah, I'm very excited about all the content and the way it kind of happened, and looks on the site and everything. It's been, you guys have been keeping up with me every day, so you know that I was not planning on, doing any of this without my usual crew and team. But it, sometimes necessity is the mother of invention, and you just do what you got to do. And I'm very proud of myself. I'll just say that. Let's applaud me. I kind of can't believe that it all came together, and that I'm as happy with all of the content as I am. So I just, yeah, wow. What a world, what a month, what a project. What else do I have to tell you guys? There's so much I want to tell you. I deserve a pat on the back. Thanks, Jenny. Cheers. So you like the video too? Oh, thank you. That means so much to me. I was really nervous about the video. Like I've told you guys before, we normally have two guys here shooting video. It's just a whole process, 4 to 5 cameras. And yeah, it's just, everything just kind of worked out. And it was tough. I'm not going to lie. But it all happened, and I'm so happy with everything. So let's see. I'm gonna kind of tell you guys. Oh yeah, the photos definitely have the fantasy vibe. A lot of people like commented on my cherry tree. And like I do have a cherry tree out front and it is blooming right now, as you guys have seen, but those photos were edited very heavily. The world was kind of, I don't want to say altered, because everything you see in the photos was there for the most part, except for like more cherry blossoms, more like, well, and like the cherry blossoms scattered on the ground, like weren't there. So those were all kind of like edited and just like amped up to fantasy range by the wonderful Sophie, who owns Shameless Pinup. So I'm really grateful to her. I just told her to like go crazy with them because I love the idea of this being like this sort of like quarantine fantasy world. And I really wanted everything to look like of my home. You know what I mean? So like this sort of like sequestered feeling, but just like going to the sort of more magical realm with it. More cherry blossoms, more scattered petals. So yeah, it was kind of amazing to see what she did with it. I mean, just like sort of amping up the colors and more flowers and all of that. So yeah, the editing was really amazing, and I really loved it. I've always sort of shied away from having a lot of editing done on my photos, and I will say like we don't retouch bodies and stuff like that if you guys are curious. But we do like we'll like, smooth out the light, correct the light, shine up the hair a little, all of that stuff. But this was the first time I've really said like, okay, let's just have fun with this. Like, why not? So just want to thank Sophie so much for the work that she did on those photos. And yeah, I have more to post today, and just I have like a collection of 15 of them to share with you guys. So I will keep posting them. And actually I have one that's like directly inspired by Mrs. Maisel shot. So yeah, a lot of fun stuff to share with you guys. It's pure Disney princess themed. Yeah, I felt like a princess. It was so, actually, the really funny thing is that day shooting on the lawn, like my neighbors have really only seen me in sweatpants recently, because it's like I'm in sweatpants, I walk Hattie, and then I dress for this live stream every day. And the only time they've ever really seen me lately is in sweatpants and a coat and a messy bun and no makeup. So that day shooting out on the front lawn in this glamorous dressing gown, and there was like a little wind, and it was like a very beautiful day, and like everything was kind of blowing, and I saw people kind of like waving at me, and I was just like, it's a fantasy day today. So yeah, so what else? I want to yes, that Reagan, that's the photo I mean, the one on the cover of the instructions. That photo was inspired by that screenshot of Rose Weissman in The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. So I will be sharing that definitely on social media if you haven't seen it. So let's see. I kind of want to tell you about each of these garments that I have here today, just to like give you a little background. And then if you have more questions, like I'll take questions at the end. That's how I feel walking to my car in drag. Relatable, Colin. Relatable. Okay. So this is the dressing gown version. All right. So the pattern, you need the Charm Patterns princess coat to make this. And a lot of the pieces you use from the princess coat. And then what we do on Patreon is we provide you what's called an expansion. So the pieces that you would need to make this new variation on the princess coat. So in the instructions, it tells you which pieces to use from the original pattern. And then it also has the new pieces and tells you how to incorporate them. And I did new cutting layouts for all the two variations, okay, because I knew that it was just sort of like a kind of perfect blend of old and new with these pattern pieces, so I didn't want you guys to get confused. So lots of new cutting layouts for you. You're welcome. You know I hate doing cutting layouts, but I knew it would help you. So this is the classic dressing gown version. The inspiration for this was, like I said, Mrs. Maisel, but also I spent a lot of time looking at vintage patterns for dressing gowns, actual vintage garments, to kind of see what were some of the like hallmarks of these designs. And I knew I wanted a full skirt, but not too full, because if we went with the princess coat fullness and extended it to the ground, you would really have like a ball gown, and we would have to piece it pretty intensely to be able to fit it on wide widths of fabric. And also, you know, you don't want to be like dragging around a train around your house. So this is more like an A-line shape. And we made sure that even the largest size we make, which is a size 20, would fit on the width of a 45-inch wide piece of fabric. So that was kind of our guideline. I told our grader, I was like, well, I don't want to go wider than 45 inches. I don't want to have to like piece it once we get into the larger sizes. So it's more like an A-line shape that you do want to drag around a train. I know sometimes you do. Sometimes you do. I hear you. So then this one has the tailored sleeve from the original princess coat. Some of the changes that we made were the princess coat has it's single-breasted and it has 3 buttons, and so it ends kind of high up here because it's a winter coat, so you want it to like be kind of cozy around your neck. This one is double-breasted now, which means that this panel here is completely overlapped. So this front panel is completely redrafted, and then the buttonholes are horizontal rather than vertical right here. And the break point is now at the waist. So the break point is where the lapel rolls out. It's now at the waist rather than like up here for the princess coat. We made the lapel a little narrower. If you're familiar with the princess coat, you know, it has a very dramatic shawl collar. So this one's a little narrower. Also made it lay just like a little closer to the body. This one isn't meant to be quite so dramatic. So took out a little bit of that like excess at the back to just kind of get it to like hug the body a little bit more. But the princess seams are the same. The back is exactly the same. And let's see. Oh, that's the lining is just kind of caught on there a little bit. We added this cute little pocket. I knew you guys would want a little pocket on this. So this is lined in charmeuse. The whole thing is lined in charmeuse, actually. Look at that. So you guys helped me pick the fabric for this. Well, I knew what fabric I was going to use, but I wasn't sure what side of it I was going to use. So this blue is technically the wrong side of this brocade fabric. And this peach is the right side with this sort of like pebbly texture to it. But I really love the blue, and like I asked you guys for your opinion. We did a poll on Crowdcast and you guys all really like the blue. But then when I was constructing it, I was like, I'm gonna see what it looks like with some contrast on it. And I just love the contrast collar. So I just cut the facings with the peach side up. I did covered buttons and did those in the peach, and I did the pocket in the peach. And then I also did the front skirt facing in the peach too, so that if, you know, your skirt blows open in the wind when you're out in the cherry blossom petals, then you'll see that contrast in the skirt as well. So this is a charmeuse on the inside. I love this peachy pink color, so pretty. All these fabrics are just really beautiful together. So what else can I tell you about the dressing gown? Full length, it's floor length. Anything else? Anything else? Melisha was right. Melisha's always right. So that is the sort of like dressing gown. This is like the gold standard of vintage dressing gowns. This is what the design would look like. But then I was also thinking about doing a shorter version too. And I was like, what do you call it? What would we call that? Like a robe? I was like, this just doesn't sound fabulous. And so I was doing a lot of research and I came across the term brunch coat. How much do we love that? Your brunch coat. So this one I'm wearing now is the brunch coat variation, and it just has a like knee length. Oh, there's my snippets, guys. So I'm just wearing my bra and my snippets under here. So, oh, sorry. So this is like an A-line I mean, it's the same skirt, it just has a knee length cutting line. So you can just wear your little pajamas under here. I also think it'd be really cute to wear like pants with it, but you can see this is like a dress, guys. So you could just wear this as a dress. You could wear it once we're allowed to leave our houses again. We can wear this out to a restaurant to actually get brunch, guys. So this one has a little pocket, just like the other one, but I did it in the same fabric. So you can see it looks really different in this fabric. Are you guys laughing at my pantaloons? My pantalones? And on this one, I did okay, so what I did with this one was, you know, the princess coat has a lantern sleeve, which is that shape that comes out like that. And then you can also make it as a bell sleeve because it ends right, the seam is right here, right? So I had the idea for this one that I wanted to do, actually, the inspiration for this one kind of comes from Audrey Hepburn in Roman Holiday. Do you remember that dress she wears at the end, the white lace? It's kind of like this. It's like a coat dress, and it has these like balloon-shaped bishop sleeves. So I wanted to do something similar to that. So this is just the top of the lantern sleeve or the bell sleeve. And then I added a new piece to the pattern, to the dressing gown pattern, that's a binding. So you just gather the bottom of the bell sleeve and bind it with this piece. So there are instructions for how to do that. Drama. We love a dramatic sleeve in the instructions. And this is a wool challis. This is lined in a really pretty red silk crepe. And I made this little matching hair wrap. I showed you guys this. I did this little like fringy thing. I stitched around the whole thing, and then I just like pulled out threads to create this like little fringe. Isn't that fun? So yeah. So this one actually feels much more lightweight than this one. The wool challis is like very soft and drapey. The crepe de chine is very light. This is so comfortable. There's like a lot of ease. I use the same amount of ease that I would in the princess coat. That's a question that someone had today. So you can see I have a really comfortable, easy fit here. And this is great for just for lounging, or you could wear obviously you want to wear something underneath it besides just your snippets, and wear like, you know, a slip or a dress or something if you want to wear it like as a coat dress. So yeah, fun, right? I'm glad you guys like this new project. I'm super excited about how it turned out, and yeah. So let's see. Depends on who you're going to see. Yeah. Oh, hello. Let's see. Is it possible to do another set of buttonholes a few inches above so it has 4? Yeah, you could do that. I think you would probably need to redraft this just a little bit because you would want to have it come to a point right here. Actually, you might be okay. You could do something like that. Yeah, it's one of those things you'd kind of have to test. But if it were me, I would look at the pattern piece and I would make like an actual corner here and then a new break point. So, but that's just me. Let's see. So any questions? I feel like I kind of said my piece. Let's see. How is your pattern making process when you make expansions? At what point do you start sewing tests in real wearable fabric? How do you do? Oh, excuse me. Melisha, you miss me sneezing loudly? That's for you, Melisha. That goes out to you. Thank you. What am I answering? Oh, so the expansions, the pattern making process, you don't miss it. The pattern making process is it's a lot simpler than it is for things that we would be designing from scratch, because obviously we already know how everything is supposed to fit. So, and we actually only work digitally for expansions, which is why it's an easy project for us to get out to you relatively quickly. So our grader slash pattern maker, rather than me drafting something on paper and then digitizing it, sending it her, working with it, putting it into her program, we don't do it that way. I send her sketches and inspiration, and she will take the existing pattern pieces and digitally manipulate them in the program we already have, send them to us. And a lot of what we've been doing at Charm, in the past year, is kind of upping our game when it comes to our equipment and processes. So we have a plotter now, which is, Melisha, do you agree? I think that's the best thing we've spent money on since you came to work for me, is that plotter, because we used to have to get things printed, or we would be sending like the test patterns out to PDF plotting and waiting for them to come back, or printing them locally, and then it was expensive. So now we just print everything directly on our plotter. You totally agree. Yeah, it was a great purchase. It was very expensive, but it was a great purchase. And so we'll get a digital file from our grader and just print it right out and start testing in muslin. And I feel like the process has been a lot quicker with expansions, because we generally know where we're going and we had a good starting point. So we might do things like, the hood, test a few times. On the raincoat, we tested a few times to make sure we have the right shape. And then we're going into fabric pretty quickly, and we have to be, because we're releasing one of these projects every month. So the process is just like, it's like an abbreviated process. And then the sample sewing, I mean, I've been doing all of this since I've been home in quarantine. So that's when I've been hinting at, like, I've been working on stuff. Like, this is what I've been sewing at home. And yeah, I don't know if that answers your question, but I think it's kind of interesting. I was thinking today that we're going to be doing a new pattern for Patreon next month. And you guys are going to be, since we've been talking every day almost, and like communicating live, you're kind of seeing my process over a month. Now, granted, it's a very different process than if we were in the studio and I had Melisha with me and a crew of guys helping me film and photographers coming up from the city and all that. But it's still the same timeline of like month to month. So right now, you guys just got this process, and I'm now testing next month's project in muslin. I'm going to shoot the video next month. Not next month, next week. The photographs the week after that, and then instructions and everything just kind of keeps rolling. And it all has to be ready by the last day of this month. So it's a really abbreviated process, and it's exciting. It's exciting. It keeps me on my toes for sure, because there is no real room for error. We have to have a lot of things kind of on the back burner too. So we have a lot of things that we're working on that could come out this summer, and kind of like whichever is ready first will be the next months. And yeah, it's really, I've never worked like this before. It's just really interesting. It's a really short cycle. How do I have the time for the gaming? Oh my God, Carrie, that's so funny. I was thinking today, I was like, I've done all this and gotten to level 51 on Pocket Camp. Yeah, so I think the gaming, because I can't leave my house anymore, that's kind of when that came about. I don't have commuting time. Yeah, I don't go obviously anywhere else. But yeah, can you believe all my accomplishments besides this level 51 on Pocket Camp, guys? So, and the knitting. Oh my gosh, I've like knit a quarter of a sweater. So yeah, feeling very accomplished, overachiever over here. Just kidding. I don't know. It's been a weird mix of like feeling not that productive in quarantine, and then kind of like looking back on what I've achieved so far and being like, okay, it's actually like things are moving along. I read an interesting quote the other day, guys, which is that people, okay, here's the quote. I'm paraphrasing. People tend to overestimate what they can do in a day, and they underestimate what they can do in a year. I mean, I feel like I relate to that so much. I make these really long to-do lists, and you've seen my journal, and I feel at the end of the day, I usually feel like I didn't get to anything, I didn't accomplish anything. And then I look back like a year later and I'm like, oh my God, I was doing so much. I mean, I think I need to, like, personally, I wish I had more like of a 5-year plan. I'm kind of like looking at the next year and what we want to be doing, and you know, a few months from now, but I don't tend to think in terms of like chunks of years. It is motivating, isn't it? And I also think that I would say too, like, we probably underestimate what we can achieve in a month, even, you know? Yeah. So if you just kind of keep chipping away at a goal, it really is amazing what you can do, especially on Pocket Camp. You can buy a picnic set. You can earn 300,000 bells, guys. You may think you're poor on Pocket Camp, but before you know it, you'll be 100,000-aire like me. Okay. So yeah, I mean, that's just a little quarantine motivation for you. I also think that, you know, now is kind of a time where we could be a little easier on ourselves. Let's see. Jesse says, have you thought of celeb collabs like Dita Von Teese would be amazing? We want to see Christine and you, or is there anyone you would like to collab with? I mean, you guys know I like love Dita Von Teese, and I mean, anything she asked me to do, I would do. And yeah, I mean, I think with Christine McConnell, I think I have, if she ever wanted to collaborate with me, I definitely have like concrete ideas. I've even said to Melisha, like, of ways that we could do that, because we were talking about her yesterday and how, you know, her sewing projects are like so inspiring, but she doesn't have like the pattern making background that like we have at Charm Patterns. So it would just be kind of cool. But she has amazing star power and this like super finely honed aesthetic. And it would be so cool to just like have her do like what would be her dream dress design, and we could make it, you know? So yeah, I think that's the one that I would be the most excited about, but she's way too famous. Yeah, so I did meet Dita. I've gone to a few events of hers. I've gone to one of her shows and went to the meet and greet. And she had a book signing at, I think it was at Barney's or Bergdorf's or something. And I went, and I was wearing a coat that I made. And it was that Butterick princess coat pattern before I had Charm Patterns. And it's in like a ivory boiled wool with like black lace fused on top of it. And she complimented my coat. And she told me that she collects princess coats, which I already knew. But that was our conversation. She's very sweet. She's very tiny. She's quiet, you know, she's like kind of shy. But yeah, it was really great to meet her. Let's see. A writing campaign to get Gertie as a judge for Drag Race. Okay, you know that's my dream. So yeah, tonight is Drag Race night, and also this new secret celebrity drag race, which is super exciting. Hi, Missy. How are you? Were you impressed with our photos? Did you like how Sophie retouched my hair to make it look like you did my hair? I mean, I did my hair pretty well, but I didn't do it that well. Sophie helped me out with the retouching there, I gotta say. It was almost like you were here, Missy, though obviously not as good. All right, everyone. So Colin, you helped Dita pick out makeup at MAC. That is a dream. That's amazing. Let's see. Any more questions that I missed? Oh, someone asked, will I release this pattern on the charm site in the future? And I've seen people asking that on social media. And the answer is no, just because all of this stuff that we're making is like funded by patrons on Patreon. And the only way we can make this kind of content is through that funding. So it just wouldn't make sense for me to down the road say, okay, but now everyone can have it for this price. So I mean, if you heard my little teary-eyed speech yesterday, just like really believe strongly in Patreon and the way the funding is helping us make this kind of content. And I am 100% here to like give back to patrons as much as possible. So that said, I mean, you can get this for $7 a month, you know what I mean? And just like, you're not locked into Patreon for life. So I'm not sure what the what's the word I'm looking for? Help me. Reservations are that people have about it. I guess, you know, like I was saying yesterday, like they just don't want to like sign up for another subscription service, but it's $7, guys. And like you get this and the other stuff on the site. And then we're bringing you something new and big like this every month. So yeah, that's all I'll say about that. I feel really strongly that it's like a great deal for you guys financially. It's a great deal for us financially because the funding allows us to do all this. It allows us to do the YouTube stuff. Like, I feel so strongly about it, and I won't cry. But my number one goal with this is to make you guys feel like it's so worth it to you, you know, and that you're getting great content every month. That's only 2 coffees. You would pay more for the $7 Patreon. It's a great deal. Oh, that's really nice to hear. Yeah, I was thinking about like the pricing of it. And I do think that another great thing about Patreon is that if we brought these patterns out individually, like as individual expansions, we would have to charge more than $7 for them. But because of the way Patreon works, it's like a crowdfunding subscription service. We can charge you less because it's all about more people coming together to provide that funding on a regular basis, on a monthly basis. So that's why it's able to work for you guys, for us to do it as well. So it's such a good like collaboration with you guys. I don't know. I really like it. Shut up and take my money has been my attitude since you made Patreon. Thank you guys. Thank you. You've been a Patreon since the day before we started. Thank you. Yeah, that was funny. We were planning on launching on February 1st, and then we found out that we had to actually launch it like a couple days. Like it had to be approved by Patreon. So it was up at the end of January, and no one knew about it. Like I didn't put the name out there or anything like that, but so many of you found it anyway. You were so enthusiastic about it. So that was really nice. Like you guys were coming in at the end of January before I had even like officially launched it. So yeah. Oh, thank you, Evie. Yeah, it's been really fun to do. And Melisha and I had a funny moment where we were like, what did we do before the Patreon? What did we do all day? Yeah, it's been really great just creatively. And anyway, you know me. I get all verklempt. That's a good word. Jenny, will the hood extension work with this extension? It doesn't actually, because let me think how to explain this. I mean, you could do kind of like a mashup of the hood expansion, like do the hooded bodice with the dressing gown skirt. Like that's something you could do. But the difference is that this has the shawl collar and the hooded one just buttons up to the neck and then has the hood. So the hooded variation doesn't have a collar at all. Okay. Jesse had a heart attack because I forgot to update my card and my payment didn't go through this morning. I was terrified. I lost my PDF tier. I fixed it, but the panic. Oh yeah, so that's another thing to tell you guys is that we reopened the princess tiers on Patreon. So for those of you who have been asking about that, you can now upgrade or join at the princess level. So that's great. Oh, what's happening to my shawl collar? I've been gesturing to it too much. So let's see, someone just asked, will there be a new YouTube video this month? Okay, so we had big plans for the YouTube video. There won't be the long form YouTube video. Actually, that's not true. There's something coming on YouTube. Things are a little different on YouTube, and we weren't able to get because of the limitations that we've had. We were not able to get together one of those professionally produced hour-long YouTube videos for you for the first of the month, but I have something coming for you on YouTube. And I also am going to be shooting a shorter YouTube video for you, kind of like I did last month, the top 10 tips video. So there are things coming to you on YouTube. The one thing I let myself let go of this month was getting a YouTube video out on the 1st. I was really overwhelmed. I was overwhelmed by doing this on my own in my house. So I just kind of let myself not worry as much about YouTube this month, but it's kind of coming later. Do I think you can use the peplum of the coat and attach it to the new pencil skirt? No, I definitely don't, because they have totally different amounts of ease. The pencil skirt has 1 inch of ease in the waist, and the princess coat has 2 to 4 inches of ease in the waist. So they're totally different types of garment. One is an outerwear garment, and the other is a pencil skirt. So they have different amount of ease, so they're not going to match up to each other. So if you want to do a peplum, I would actually, maybe use the top of, a peplum is just a short, full skirt, right? So you could use like the top of the full circle skirt and just cut it to the length you want, the Stanwick skirt. And those would definitely match up with the waist. I'm superhuman. Yeah. Superhuman. I do a live one every day. This doesn't count, Marin. I would be sitting here talking to myself anyway if you guys weren't here. Yeah, so we do the lives on YouTube every day. That's a good point. And cream break. And yeah, we'll have more stuff coming out on YouTube. There's actually a project that's coming to you in May that will have a YouTube video that I've been hinting at a little bit too. That's like totally extra, sponsored by B&J Fabrics, and you guys are gonna love it. So yeah, you won't be neglected on YouTube. So let's see. I was tired, yeah. What are my fabric recommendations for Rose? They're in the instructions, okay? So you probably do better to go there and read them rather than to listen to me try to remember what I wrote 3 weeks ago. I know I recommended quilted fabrics. What else? Brocades. See, this is like, you might as well just look at the recommendations on the file. Yes, hard copies of charm patterns are shipping. Thank you to Melisha. So we are out of stock on the night and day dress, but everything else we should have in stock. The plotter place is called pdfplotting.com. So I was just laughing because we've gotten some emails recently about people who charge too much for large format printing. And I will just repeat my spiel, if you guys haven't heard this, is that I really wouldn't recommend going someplace like Staples or Office Depot or even an online place. I mean, a local place to print your PDF patterns, because they tend to charge about $10 a sheet, right? So if you're looking at something like the Stanwyck skirt, that's 5 sheets, so that's $50 just to print it. But if you find an online printer, you're going to be charged a lot less, and they will ship it directly to you, which is important right now, right? So we use PDF plotting when we need to print. And what do they charge per sheet? It's like $1.35 or something like that. I mean, it is like dramatically lower than $10 a sheet. It's $1 something a sheet. So, and yeah, they charge for shipping, but it's like $5 or something like that, and they get it out to you really quickly. So just use an online printer if you're going to be printing full size, is my recommendation. Okay. We love making you repeat stuff I write. It feels like a bit of a test, guys, because believe it or not, I don't remember anything I wrote even a week ago. So are you guys just trying to keep me on my toes? One of my problems is I don't remember things that I said yesterday. So yeah, I would trust way more something that I wrote and that has been proofread and all of that and edited, rather than something that I'm going to spout off in a live. You're fact checking me. It's good. It's important. I know this isn't part of today's subject, but where do you buy your pom-poms? So are we talking like pom-pom trim? I buy those on Etsy a lot. Etsy's a great place to get pom-pom trim. I just kicked something over a little bit. Let's see. I think I'm a pretty patient person. I just think it's better. I mean, I would just, like I said, so much just trust the Gertie who wrote fabric recommendations weeks ago, rather than the Gertie, the very tired, for some reason, very tired Gertie sitting in front of you, chugging Coke Zero, trying to remember what I wrote 3 weeks ago. Jenny, you like that? You like this sponsor, this product placement? Yeah, I know. It had to match my brunch coat, obviously. So guys, what are you all sewing? I feel like we've just put so much stuff out lately. Like, what are you guys working on? Go. Yeah, I'm gonna ask you guys questions. What are you guys sewing this weekend? It's the weekend. It's Friday. Oh God, I've never said that before in my life. I'm sorry. I take it back. Face masks. I'm sewing some samples of the project that I keep teasing you guys about. A sunsuit, a dressing gown, 15 Ritas, 5 matching sets of Jane shorts. Wow. Knitting a Rizzo blouse, fabulous. 2 Hepburn tops. Wow, that's amazing. Masks, Liz dress, plaid swirl dresses, handbags. Audrey, you're waiting on fabric for the Hepburn top. Oh my gosh, you guys are all telling me. Isolation gowns. I take it back. Oh my gosh, you guys. I'm going to attempt a Stanwyck skirt, one of my patterns, masks. Dorothy popover dresses, sweetheart knit top, Rhea blouses, jumpsuits, Starburst dress. Rita blouses. I've seen a lot of Ritas on for the first day of Me Made May. Oh, happy Me Made May, everyone. So lots of Ritas today, so that's exciting to see. A Rita muslin, masks and Ritas. That's the theme. Masks and Ritas. Working on a Liz. We're gonna get to the Stanwyck. Baby quilts. Jiffy dresses. Yeah, it's what is Me Made May? Oh, so Me Made May is it's a month-long celebration on social media of sewing our own wardrobes. And people, the goal is to every day wear something that you have made yourself. Take a picture and post it to social media. I think there are fun like prompts and sponsors you can tag and everything. So just look up, like my typing, look up the hashtag Me Made May. It might be 2020, but look up those hashtags and you'll see what people are posting every day. It's really fun. Yeah, so every day is Me Made May. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. Wow, you guys, you're making my slip pattern. You guys, oh, you're starting a new night and day dress. Colin's making 2 dresses inspired by Diana Dors. Sunny has no idea what she's starting this weekend, but it's going to be something fabulous because it always is. Wow, you guys. Okay, that was fun. Can we get a Hattie and Henry update? Yes, of course. So Hattie has been on much better behavior. Oh, she's in her little bed. So she has this little, it's actually a bed I made for Henry many years ago. It's like made out of blue and white striped ticking. It's like one of those little donut shaped beds. She is in her bed. There has been no naughty behavior from Hattie lately. So kudos to Hattie. Pat on the back to Hattie. She's just been really sweet and cuddly, and she's been wanting to play a lot. I don't know if I've told you guys this, but Hattie is a toy enthusiast. She always has toys all around the house. She has about 5 dragon toys, 1 dinosaur, a hedgehog, a donut, a Christmas cookie, and she loves anything with a squeaker. So if you squeak it, she freaks out. She goes running, and then we just kind of like throw her toys back and forth, and she loves it. It's really cute. And she loves to do the thing where she like breaks their necks by like, doing that thing. So she loves her toys. It's really cute. At the studio, she has, what are her toys at the studio? Stripey Cow. Oh my gosh, I've forgotten. It's been so long. Oh, the Woolly Mammoth. So yeah, so those are still at the studio. Those are like her studio toys. Yeah, she's really cute with her toys. And then Henry is doing great too. He's wearing his spring bow tie. It's a little floral bow tie that goes on his collar. Very cute. Yeah, and he's just been his usual sweet self. Yeah, I don't really have much to report about Henry. He came in and stomped on my head this morning. And then cuddled. Yeah, I don't know, just the usual. Let's see. Yeah, he's a cutie. Post a video in my stories. Sometimes the playing with the toys, I will. In my robe video, you laughed out loud when I scolded Henry. It's so fun. They're like always in the videos. It's so cute. Yeah, the last scene in the dressing gown video on Patreon, Henry's in the chair over there and he's just like curled up. I think he might be licking himself actually. And I was like holding Hattie and she was kind of like doing her little dozing off thing. It was very cute. Michael, she probably wouldn't try to break your cat's neck. No, that was actually why it was so hard to integrate Hattie and Henry, because she was just like, oh, what a fabulous little squirrel you've brought for me to kill. I was just like, no, that's my baby. That's my firstborn. So she's used to him now. She's chilling out. Henry's a nice video cat. Yeah, he is until he gets like really hungry. You know how he is. Show us my trims. Show us your trim stash. I don't have a lot of trim here, guys. Most of the trim is in the studio. Yeah, there isn't a lot of trim. There's a growing fabric stash here. For a while, it was just like, oh, I'll just bring home the things I need and I won't buy anything new. Ha ha. Now there's just like a huge shelf of fabric over there. All right, everyone. That's my Henry and Hattie update. Yeah, they're doing great. They're doing very well. I think Hattie misses going into the studio, but you know. Great gardens. The felt pod has some cool trim choices. I didn't know that. Yeah, I have a lot of fabric around the house right now, which I didn't anticipate having, but she does miss her auntie. You miss Auntie Melisha? She said yes. With tears in her eyes. She does. She misses you. They both miss you. Fabric shopping is really important, as is eyeshadow shopping, lipstick shopping. Yeah. I'm so obsessed now with this eyeshadow, this Dose of Colors Ideal Duo. Just one color right over the lid, guys. And Missy, I wanted to tell you, is Missy still here? I didn't use a primer, and this cream base stuff held up beautifully without a primer. So I don't know what sorcery this is, but really great. Yeah. So I'm gonna go. I only have this in the one color, and this color is called Maple. And so it's a cream. It has two. It's a duo. So it has two eyeshadows of the same color, and one is a cream and one is a loose powder with sparkles. So it's really fun. It's by a brand called Dose of Colors. That's my dream collaboration right now, guys. I want Dose of Colors to reach out to me. And we're going to do a Gertie Dose of Colors collaboration. It's going to be an eyeshadow palette. It's going to have some shimmers. It's going to have like Isolation Purple, Gray Gardens Gray. And yeah, that's what we're going to do. And then there'll be like a collection of little maybe like mini matte liquid lipsticks to go with it. You buy it, Dose of Gertie. That's the dream, guys. I really like this Dose of Colors. Colin, what did you say? I have to do a quick tutorial on how to tie my headscarf. So cute. Thank you. So I don't want to take it out because it looks especially cute today, but maybe like or next week or something we'll do one. And yeah, I did do a little a quick little tutorial. It's really just tied in a bow is all it is. Do you see how like that's the middle of the bow and these are like the little ends, the little bunny ears right there, and then these are the ties. So couldn't be simpler. But you guys know I love to do ill thought out hair tutorials on live platforms. So I'll do it again. COVID colors. Yeah, it's gonna happen, guys. It's gonna happen. Dose of Gertie. Yeah, the purple will be Melisha purple, and then Gertie pink. Yeah, I have lots of ideas. Coke Zero red. The dimensions of this scarf, Colin, are, I think it's 12 inches tall. It's like a long rectangle. And I just used the entire width of the fabric, selvage to selvage. So I think this fabric was like 54 inches or something like that. So I just like cut it across the entire width of the fabric, 12 inches high. And then I stitched around the entire rectangle at 1/2 inch with a straight stitch, like a smaller straight stitch, and then just take tweezers and just pull out the threads on the edge. Like just keep pulling them out. It's so fun. I'm a little scared about how enthusiastic I feel about this. But guys, it was so fun pulling out those little threads. I can't say enough good things about it. Just pull out those little threads. Just a fun, easy project. Crazy eyes. I know, guys. Ooh, I'm going to bring it back. I'm going to rein it in. It was okay. It wasn't that fun. It was like, whatever. So I really recommend that as a fun little project. And yeah, just take the width of the fabric, 12 inches high, you got a little hair scarf. And I washed my hair last night, so this is just like my sad, non-curled hair. Don't go whatever happened to baby Jane on us. Fun crafts you can do with the raccoons running around your house in your dressing gown. The fabric of the gown and scarf I have on is wool challis. And challis is spelled Challis, so it's very drapey fabric. Obscure question. Gertie, are you a native New Yorker? No, you guys want to know where I'm from? Can you guess where I'm from? Can you guess my home state? You guys will never guess. I'm going to let you guys guess. I'm going to take 10 guesses. If it's in there, you get a personal crazy eyes thank you from me. Okay, we've got Virginia, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Minnesota, Arizona, Connecticut, Delaware. How did you know? Erica got it. It's Delaware. Thank you, Erica. Thank you. You got it. I'm from Delaware. Who knew? Who knew except for Erica? Yes, you guessed. I wondered if you knew that somehow. Yeah, Erica guessed somehow that I am from, so I was born, baby Gertie, was born in Wilmington, Delaware. And we moved around a lot growing up. Like we lived in Michigan, we lived in Brazil. We moved back to Delaware on 2 different occasions. My dad worked for DuPont, so we just like kind of traveled around for his job. And then so then I went to New York University for college. So I moved from Delaware to New York then. My parents moved out to California for a few years. So they were in Livermore, California, if you guys are familiar with the area. And then they retired to Cottonwood, Arizona. So you guys know I spend some time in Arizona if I go to visit my mom. So that's why I go to Arizona. And my brother, who's 2 years older than me, lives in Houston, Texas. So I also often go to see family in Houston. And no one lives in Delaware anymore. So I moved out to after college, I moved out to San Diego for like 6 years. Was it 6 years? And then I worked in publishing, and I moved to New York City, and that was like, oh gosh, I don't know, guys, all the years are running together now, but about 8 years ago, I moved from New York City up to Beacon, New York, which is about 50 miles north of the city. And this is considered like the Hudson Valley area. And that's the whole story. And I was just thinking today, I was like, I think I'm going to die here in Beacon, New York. I don't know why I had to think it so morbidly, but I kind of think I think I'm staying put. I grew up moving around a lot, and I always kind of thought that I would go live somewhere else. Um, and I don't know, I feel very settled here now because I have my lovely house in Beacon, which I love, and I'm close to the city, which is great. So I can just like go into B&J and buy these wonderful fabrics when they reopen. And I can afford to have a house on my own. And I can also, I mean, the idea of, okay, imagine this in New York City, being able to afford to buy property on your own and also rent studio space as a small business owner. Like, I just feel so fortunate every day that I'm able to do both of those things. So I just feel really lucky. I mean, prices are getting kind of crazy here, but in Newburgh, Newburgh isn't as nice as Beacon. It's across the river, but there's a lot of great old warehouses that have been converted into studios, and that's why we have our studio over there. And I get to like drive across the Hudson River every morning to go to the studio. Well, when it opens again. And yeah, I'm just like super, super lucky. So yeah, I wouldn't change anything. Could I ever leave this house? I don't think I could. I mean, I will say that having lived, look at me just chatting. I will say, having lived in this house for a few years now, it's not even the size of it. It's a pretty small house. It's like 900 square feet. It's not the size of it, I think, that would make me leave. It's more the fact that it's like, and this is so funny having come from New York just 8 years ago from the city. I lived in Queens. It's like, I feel like this street is too busy. I'm like, it's like Grand Central Station out there, all these cars driving by. The people like cut through on my street to get to the main road in Beacon, and it drives me crazy. There's Mom. Yeah, Cottonwood is great. Oh yeah, Jerome is great. I go out to Jerome every time I go to Cottonwood to see my mom. Yeah, so the one thing I think about moving is, would I go somewhere a little more off the beaten path and not in a neighborhood? But on the other hand, I'm a big scaredy cat, and any little like sound of like branches or raccoons or whatever is out there would terrify me. So maybe it's better that I stay on the street. Yeah, so mom lives in Cottonwood. All right, everyone. I taught in Cottonwood last year. Went out to visit my mom and taught at Quilters Corners out there. That was really fun. Okay. Oh wow, there are 219 people here. I was like, are we dwindling the more I ramble? No, we have a lot of people in here. That's nice. Kansas. Okay, everyone. So this has been fun. Thanks for joining me today. Thank you. Thank you so much for your enthusiasm for today's Patreon project. And I am going to be taking the weekend off. Oh, Melisha, someone needs a little time out here. I'm going to be taking the weekend off from live streams, but I will be back on Monday. And if you're on Patreon, keep an eye out for the schedule. I have actually, if you're on Patreon, and also thank you to everyone who signed up for Patreon today, because we've like had a whole influx of people. I really appreciate it. And we have some fun stuff coming up, including a fabric giveaway. Guys, I don't even want to hint at what this fabric giveaway is, because you're going to freak out when you see what I got you guys for this fabric giveaway. So that's coming up. I have a little techniques video coming up for Patreon, and then we're going to have 2 live streams. Excuse me. 2 live streams for Patreon exclusively. So I was thinking about doing a crowdcast, maybe with some of the inspiration images for the dressing gown. Would you guys like that? I can do another one of my famous PowerPoint presentations. That would be fun. Yeah, we could do another Zoom. That would be fun. We could do another sewing circle. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it all. Yeah, I'm all about it. So I'll work on scheduling things for the month of May. Guest images. Yeah, we'll do it. So, okay, so why don't we kind of roughly plan out that our live events this month will be a crowdcast presentation kind of thing, and then at least one sewing circle on Zoom. Great. Don't make me cry. All right, guys, we'll do it. I'll get to work on that PowerPoint. Okay, everyone. Yeah, I can't wait either. It's just been really fun doing those live events. And so fun doing this here with you today. So thank you for tuning in. Have a wonderful weekend. And my advice to you and to myself is that this weekend you should just do what makes you happy if you can. So if you feel like sewing, sew. If you feel like sitting in your sweatpants, playing Animal Crossing, if you feel like knitting, whatever it is, go with your gut. Do something for you. All right. So great to see you guys. And I'll be back on Monday. All right. Have a great weekend. Goodbye. Mwah.